Alright, so welcome to the first episode. Wow, we actually decided to do this. So, happy Chinese New Year, everyone, first and foremost. And welcome to our very first episode. Now, me and my brother Ryan are geeks, we're nerds, we're video game lovers. This podcast is going to talk about video games, anime, comic books, movies, things of that nature. And for certain video games, there will be spoilers. I'm gonna have to say this every time. For certain video games, there are spoilers, especially with today's episode's topic. Because one of the video games that me and Ryan both play every single day is Fate Grand Order. So both of us are big Type Moon fans. And I wanted to discuss in this episode what's next. Because Fate Grand Order's been around for how long?
I think it's been around for maybe. When did it start? I think
we're going with Japan's timeline.
Japan's time.
I
think maybe around 2013 it started.
2013.
It's been around for a good, at least 5 years. I think 5-6 years already.
Because Fate Grand Order here in the Philippines came out 2018. It was available 2018.
I'm kind of basing it off of how many anniversaries they've had so
how
far.
many has this one been? Japan
just had 5th anniversary last year.
5 years.
It's been around for 5 years.
So this will be 2021 will be the sixth
year of Fate Grand Order anniversary.
So I bring up this timeline because the landscape of gacha games today is very different because of one game.
There's a lot of impact coming from a lot of new gacha games.
Exactly. With the fun aside, yes, Genshin Impact literally came out last year, at the very end of last year, I think. September of last year. And you have games like Arknights, which is around, how long? 2 years?
Yes. If you're following the Chinese server's launch, it's only been around for around 2 years.
Yeah.
And technically in the global server, we're gonna reach our 2nd year only this year.
Right. And you even have other games like Princess Connect Redive, which just came out NA. You have Epic 7, which is celebrating also 2 years.
And then soon, Yostar's also going to release globally Blue Archive.
That's
other
right.
work.
Token Ranbu is getting an NA release as well.
Yeah, there's a heck ton of gacha games that are coming out.
Exactly.
And Genshin Impact is making
on the top.
A big impact.
Exactly.
No pun intended.
Because Genshin Impact is the only gacha game I've ever seen at the Game Awards. Ever.
Oh yeah, they're the first to make that.
So MiHoYo has the moneymaker. Granted, Honkai is very well loved by the Honkai fan base. Honkai Impact 3.
And I'm pretty sure they're going to have a collab soon enough.
Yes. But we can save that discussion for the Genshin Impact episode that we plan to do.
Yeah,
but I wanted to bring it all up because of all of them, I'm pretty sure at this point FGO is the oldest one.
Yes.
Certainly among the ones we play.
In terms of oldest, among the ones we play, yes, it's the oldest. In terms of gacha games, I'm pretty sure they're older.
They're older, I'm sure.
There's Girls Frontline. I don't even know when that came out.
Yeah, Summoner's War, one of the granddaddies of gacha games.
Yeah, but I think... No. Yeah.
Summoner's
War came out really
Brave
early.
Frontier as well was one of the very first.
Yeah.
Now, I want to know, because both of us are not only big FGO fans, we're big Type Moon fans in general. With the game being 6 years old, and Nasu saying how at this point in JP we're only at the halfway of the 2nd arc, what's next? Because I found it funny. I mentioned this to Ryan in a random discussion we had before this podcast was a thing, that they released Muramasa when Genshin Impact came out. So
well, they didn't release him at the same time, but it was kind of
Genshin Impact was going on the rise.
It is still on the rise.
It was getting popular, right?
Yeah.
They released Muramasa in Japan.
They had to kind of make an impact for their anniversary or
we have to use
New
a different
Year,
word.
Right?
We gotta figure out a different word.
Yeah, we have to. They need a different word.
But anyway, Muramasa came out, a long-awaited servant for many Fate Grand Order fans. He was the reason a lot of people started playing. I think a lot of people started saving their quartz Kind of like how I'm saving for Dainsleif
In Genshin.
Genshin Impact. But okay, now that he's here, and we also have Karen Hortensia who just came out for Japan.
Yeah, for Valentine's.
Now that he's here, now that
Who's
they're
next?
both here, what's next for them? So this episode's gonna be more about servants in general. We do speculate a lot about like the future Lost Belts events,
Yeah.
story implications,
And, you know,
Type Moon universe.
we
We
will
might
talk
go
about-
into that
We
here.
will talk about like future events and stuff and like servants to save for.
Yeah.
But I think that we'll have that like another
Yeah.
episode.
But what's next for them? Because like Muramasa was a pretty big gun to fire, right? But now he's out there. The only one I can think of now is spoiler to everybody, Romani. Cause Romani's alive. Well, kinda.
Yeah, but then again, he's still Solomon. He can't really call him Romani, and like, I don't know. We still don't understand how he's there, cause isn't his noble phantasm supposed to erase him from the throne of heroes, right?
Yeah.
But like, he's still there, and he calls himself, Goetia in quotation marks. So I don't think he's gonna be next. He might be. It might be a possibility, and I bet lots of people would love to see him. But then
Lots of people would love to wail for him, I'm sure.
That's true. But like, maybe not soon. I don't
Yeah.
think that now's the time for that.
Romani, I guess, is a very... I feel like he's the next big... When is this guy coming out? He's in the game already. Like, for a long time, that was Muramasa. Like, we met Muramasa in Shimosa. For Japan, how long was that? Until Muramasa came out?
Well,
New Year. He was the New Year servant,
New Year
right?
servant of this year.
Okay, so like, for us, given that FGO is usually... NA is usually 2 years behind Japan, we met Muramasa, last year?
Last year.
That was 2020, or did we meet in 2019?
2019 is when the Shimosa
Right.
Epic of Remnant came out.
If Shimosa came out in 2019,
Technically, you could say 2 years and a half.
Yeah.
Because Shimosa was only the third of
Yeah.
the released Epic
Yeah.
of Remnants.
And Muramasa is now there. He's just a newly released servant for their new year. So that's 4 years. If my math is right.
4
or
3 and a
5
half,
years.
4 years maybe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say 5, but like, because that's a bit long.
Yeah, but that's a long
That's
time. People
extensive.
waited a long time for this guy. It was like they waited for the Tsukihime remake to be announced for 10
Yeah,
years.
well, now
20
they
years.
did it already, so.
But apart from Muramasa, the only other this person has to be a servant that I can see as a bit of a joke was Tiamat. And granted, Tiamat is already there as King Protea, but people are talking about what she looked like in Babylon.
You
That
want to see
Tiamat
that Tiamat,
The one that
with
actually
the
spoke
eyes,
in the anime?
hair, yeah.
with the giant horns, things like that. So, is there anybody else that comes to mind? Because like Fate Grand Order always takes historical or mythical people
Or people
into
from the anime.
or people from the anime. So, who's on the table, or who's still there that we can grab from history, grab from myth? And I say this because like there's a lot of mythical people that are already in Fate in Type Moon. Maybe they're just not in Fate
heck
Grand
yeah.
Order.
Yeah.
But you got people like Theseus, for example, a Greek hero, Theseus.
If only he was more known.
Yeah, the Minotaur is there.
The
So
Minotaur's there, but Theseus
and you've
isn't.
got guys like Genghis Khan, who is not yet in Fate Gunner, that we haven't
Yeah,
seen.
We haven't seen him. I still believe he should be there. It would make so much sense.
So, in the mythical, historical side of things, who's next? Who could they possibly grab from history and myth itself to make a servant? So we're not. I don't think we can apply rules like this person has to be a saber. This person has to be a male.
I think the class can be kind of open, also the gender, because we know Type Moon loves their gender bent servants. Either that or, their question mark gender. Look at Enkidu.
Yeah.
But if you ask me, I would definitely, like I said a while ago, I would definitely want to see Genghis Khan, and definitely, I think if Alexander is not the Grand Rider, who else would be better?
Yeah. You do have a
he fits
point.
the bill so much. Mongolians are known for riding, right? Like you look at Mandricardo, he's already the first Mongolian servant, I think. He's a rider. It makes sense. And Mongolians are known for riding. They're the only people to like shoot bow and arrow while riding the horse. And if it's not the freaking King of Conquerors himself, as the Grand Rider, who else would be better but freaking Genghis Khan, the guy who conquered like, I don't know, 3/4 of Europe during his lifetime.
Okay, yeah, with Genghis Khan, so clearly you can tell he is a well-beloved possible servant for us. But I want to bring in a few other names maybe to the discussion of who could possibly be servants. First one that just came to mind in celebration of Chinese New Year, we have Jeanne d'Arc and we have Lakshmi Bai. Could Fa Mulan be a servant in the future?
I don't think so.
And just to be clear before we continue,
yeah.
we're not talking about the Disney Fa Mulan. Fa Mulan was actually a historical, historical mythical sort of character.
Okay, technically, I was about to say that I don't think it's gonna happen because the original concept of the Fa Mulan was just a poem. It was about, it was just like what the story said, that it's a girl dressed up as a guy to save her family's like next heir to the army from going to war because he might have died.
So it basically is the Disney Mulan.
It's basic, that's just an extended version and there's no
music and all that.
Like that. But that's exactly why I kind of don't think it's gonna be a thing, because we don't really have a description very clearly of what Fa Mulan is. So I kind of think it's a long shot. But I wouldn't count out the possibility though, because you have people like Benny Enma.
Yeah.
Benny Enma, she has her own mythological lore, but originally she was just a sparrow from a poem.
Yeah, because poem servants aren't really out of the question, I think, because like Beowulf. Beowulf is a poem servant, and granted, like Beowulf was heavily described in his, and I think the story of Beowulf is actually quite long. Isn't Mulan very short?
Mulan's poem is kind of short, and Beowulf's poem isn't as long either, actually.
Yeah, but here he is,
Yeah, he's there. So that's why I'm saying it's kind of a long shot, but it's still a possibility. I wouldn't count it out.
Yeah. That's true. Another thing I wanted to bring up with possible servants is because like I think both of us can agree, and a lot of people I've met in my life have agreed, the Roman singularity was not very good. And then to be fair to them, that was literally the second singularity they made, if you don't count Fuyuki.
Yeah.
Because you have France and you have Rome, and you start with France. You don't start with Fuyuki.
Fuyuki
is
was
like zero.
Prologue singularity to teach you about the game.
So, I mean, obviously, you have to give them a pass for the fact that their storytelling back then, in 2016 or 15, wasn't as good as it is in 2021. Right?
Well,
not to mention, like, a lot of the singularities in the first portion were a lot shorter.
That's true.
But I brought the Roman singularity into discussion because, like, a lot of the servants there were Roman emperors. You had Claudius Nero, who everybody knows. You have Julius Caesar, Caligula, Romulus himself. Are any other Roman emperors on the table? I also want to bring up Lucius Tiberius, this prototype servant, you can say, because he is known for fighting Arthur, not Artoria, Pendragon, in the Fate prototype universe, you can say. He exists in the prototype universe.
Well,
so
if he exists in prototype, I think he should there should be a version of him also in the normal human history, the pan-human history version.
So
the prototype
are
history.
any other Roman emperors on the table, Tiberius included?
I guess Lucius Tiberius. He's not super known, but I wouldn't say no to him, because didn't you say before that he was actually really powerful. He fought King Arthur and the Knights of the Round, right?
Yeah, he held them off at the same time for a while.
All at the same time. So he's powerful to an extent, and despite him not being super known, we know that FGO is known for adding people that we have no idea about, and then we come to like them anyway.
Yeah, it provides an education as well for these characters.
Yeah,
we learn about them, their history,
lore.
we learn about their myths.
Yeah, so I think he would be a cool addition, definitely. And you have other emperors, I think, from the Roman Empire, like Constantinople. I think we also talked about it, before this podcast, that Augustus Caesar, the son of Gaius Julius, he could definitely also be a servant.
Yeah. Normally, whenever we discuss Roman emperors in Fate, Ryan tends to go on a bit of a rant because a lot of them are either stupid or crazy.
Or
both.
Yeah, there are only a few Roman emperors that I remember distinctly that
Positively?
were actually in a positive way. Because Claudius Nero, don't get me started on that. I bet I can span 20 minutes just talking about how terrible Claudius Nero was as an emperor.
Well, that's our Claudius Nero.
That's
this
just
is
real life Claudius Nero, not the Type Moon.
Not
Claudius
Umu
Nero.
Claudius Nero.
Yeah, not Umu. Umu is different. Umu is a woman.
I mean, she's kind of not.
She'll get there. She'll get there, but she's not there yet. The one we know isn't there yet. But the original one is a stupid guy. He's fat. He's dumb. Yeah, he's just everything terrible about an emperor. He embodies that. But Type Moon gave us the Umu, so we're all fine with that because.
Another thing I want to consider as well with potential servants, Ryan brought up a good point in a conversation we've had in the past that this game, yes, of course, obviously it's made in Japan, Type Moon's Japanese based. They have the leeway to grab literally anybody from Japanese history, Japanese myth, make them a servant, and people are gonna like them. Because I think you told me before, despite how well loved Okita is in Fate Grand Order, in actual history she's not actually that significant.
That's true, because if you're looking at during that time period, right, Oda Nobunaga, I'm surprised that she isn't a 5-star. Then again, she's a joke servant, so.
Well, there's the Avenger Nobunaga.
Well, yeah, that's a more accurate representation, I guess. But Nobunaga was the really significant person during that time period, the Warring States period in Japan, and Okita Soji is one of the captains of the Shinsengumi, but the Shinsengumi were just known for being the Shinsengumi, and I'm not sure if they had any significant contributions or anything because I haven't read too much into that part of history. But if you ask me, I don't think they're super significant like what you said.
So you're saying for example, Hijikata Toshizo should have been more prevalent?
What do you mean by prevalent?
Okay, for example, many of the Guda Guda events where these Japanese servants come from, they're jokes, right? With the exception of the last one with actually that's a good jumping off point. Someone like Sakamoto Ryoma, was he significant?
Oh yeah, he was technically significant because he was what was it called again? I think there was an alliance or something.
I thought he was a detective or something.
Yeah, he's kind of like a detective, but he's the hero of the Meiji period or something like that, or the Meiji Restoration, something along
Meiji Restoration Alliance.
Kind of like that. I forgot what it was called, but there's Satsuma and Choshu Alliance. That's the one. So he was kind of their
Poster
the main
boy?
man. He was kind of like the poster boy. Yeah, he was said to be a hero.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, he's a hero. He deserves there. And there are a lot of legends about him also.
So he was a more significant one.
I would think so.
Because that particular Guda Guda, which was the last one that the NA people experienced, they introduced Nobukatsu, who was the brother.
Yeah, Nobukatsu.
And the what was his name? The main bad guy of that Guda Guda, the one that he was the butler of Nobunaga or something. You know who I'm talking about.
Yes, I
that
forgot
guy
his name.
that wasn't there. Or let's delve into Nobukatsu. I believe Nobukatsu is in JP.
He is. You can summon him in Friendpoint Gacha.
Was Nobukatsu himself significant as his brother was?
Well, yes, technically, because Nobukatsu technically contributed to the downfall of Nobunaga.
Oh, really?
Because Nobunaga killed Nobukatsu because I'm pretty sure there was something he did.
Oh, he screwed up.
Yeah, and he killed Nobukatsu. So things started to get out of hand from there. It was kind of a falling off the climax point, and eventually Nobunaga was killed by her retainers. So
that reminds me as well that the next Guda Guda event, I forget her name, the Lancer.
What you call it? I like just to call her Bishamonten.
Is that her name?
No. She's supposed to be the embodiment of Bishamonten.
Was she herself?
Nagao Kagetora. Yes.
Nagao Kagetora.
Yes.
Was she a significant Japanese figure?
She was a famous general. I'm pretty sure.
So okay, so
she's also known for dying on the toilet. Yeah.
So it seems like, well, okay, to the Japanese, they're quite significant. Well, most of them are.
Yeah.
But like, look at Okita. Okita's a 5-star.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have like, so Okita is on the same rarity as Toshizo. Toshizo is her senpai, and according to you, a lot more significant than Okita was.
Well, I can't confirm nor deny anything.
Well, we're not Japanese, so we don't know.
And I haven't really looked into that part of history that much.
But so Japan has that leeway that they can grab anybody, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. They're like all you need to do is kind of just expand upon them.
Like, are there any other emperors of Japan that they could get? Emperors, rulers, generals
I still
that you can think of
they
that isn't
should
there
put,
yet?
like Tokugawa. Cause
Isn't he in Koha Ace though?
Koa, yes, Tokugawa is.
So
there.
he exists already. He's already there.
But like that version of Tokugawa is kind of sad to look at because he's not very strong. I wish he was.
Were they not? Koha Ace began as a joke, wasn't it?
Koha Ace is still a joke.
Yeah, but people like Nobu, people like Okita, and Guda Guda is, you said, their successful, their most successful event, recurring event, right?
Yeah, it's that one event that they released
that
during
everybody
FGO
loves.
that everybody loved. It got so many people to play the game. Like when FGO first came out, right? Like their first events were kind of, so. They had like, I'm pretty sure they had like the Da Vinci event with the 7 heroic spirits thing. They had the moon pie, moon cake thing with Artemis. They also had the first Saber Wars, which is kind of But when Guda Guda came out, oh boy, like everyone was like, dang, I wanna play that.
Yeah.
I wanna get like Okita. I wanna have joke servants.
Okay. And they've been Guda Guda events
ever since.
So, I mean, yes, Koha Ace, it all began as a joke.
Yeah.
Basically. But the joke was turned into success for them.
It did, yeah.
So, he's already there. I mean, I consider he's already there. They could change things, you never know.
I hope they do change things because like his name was featured multiple times, like in the Ohoku event.
Oh, she mentioned
it. Yeah, right. It's about Kama and stuff, right? But you can see Kiara, you can see Parvati, and it's kind of a Japanese-looking place. Ohoku is also called like Tokugawa Labyrinth. I'm not sure why because I don't have a JP account.
Yeah, neither of us know, or neither of us can read Japanese either.
Yeah, but I think he's mentioned somewhere there, but I hope they do change the Tokugawa from Koha Ace because that one isn't very strong. All he can do is just switch classes.
Well, remember how now there's Fate Redline? Is that what it's called?
Type Redline. Which is a serious take on a Fate story using the Koha Ace Guda Guda servants. Yeah, it's a kind of they use the same servants but make them a lot more serious and less.
So is there, if let's say Tokugawa appeared there, right? Would that give him a little bit of credibility to show up?
I think it would, because that's where he showed up in the first place, right? Koha Ace Tokugawa.
Yeah,
that's where he first showed up in the first place. So I wouldn't mind if he was there. And actually, I think from Koha Ace lore, the Tokugawa that was summoned in Koha Ace is just one of the body doubles.
It's not him. Oh, I almost forgot. We're talking about Ieyasu, right?
Yeah, Ieyasu Tokugawa.
Is there another Tokugawa that people might mistaken this discussion for?
I don't think so.
His father, his son.
No,
whatever.
because I think he's the most known Tokugawa. When you think
okay.
Tokugawa, I think that's the guy you think of. But like the one in Koha Ace was technically his body double, if I remember reading that correctly. So if the real Tokugawa was summoned, I'd be like, wow, he can be. He can. They have a lot of potential with that.
What about that servant that gets super strong by the last day of the Grail?
Monkey. Hideyoshi.
He's the Monkey King, right?
No. Monkey. You know the guy, what you call it? Nobu's retainer.
Which one?
Retainer. The one she calls Monkey. You're
The
just
guy-
like Monkey.
Oh, the guy
Hideyoshi.
from that's the guy she's talking about.
Yeah, that's Monkey. Technically, by actual history, if you watch Quintessential Quintuplets, I learned this. But Monkey is not his nickname. That's just the nickname they gave it in history books. But Nobunaga actually called Monkey Bald Rat.
Oh.
But yeah, Monkey would be also a good addition, I think, because his concept is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's okay. How would now that you've brought it up, how would he translate to a game that isn't a Grail War? Because he gets stronger the longer he's around, right?
Yeah.
This isn't a Grail War. Grail Wars in Fate normally last a week, I think.
That's true.
What happened? But this is a game that has spanned in their time as well, not just for us as players.
Like years.
Ritsuka Fujimaru has been in Chaldea for years, I think. A year at least.
I think at this point, like 2 years.
He's had New Year celebrations and all that. He's been there for years. So a monkey servant who's been there for years is gonna be crazy powerful, right? Or is there
No. The way his Noble Phantasm works is like he takes 7 days to slowly grow to power, right?
Yeah.
And on the 7th day, he's at his strongest.
What happens
After that day, he goes back to day 1. So he's weak. He's weak poop again,
Yeah, okay, but how would that translate to FGO? Like, I guess that could be a bit more gameplay.
Yeah, if you
discussion.
ask
We can
me,
save
they
that.
already have kind of like delayed servants. Like you look at King Protea, she gets
that's right.
tankier the longer the fight goes on because of her skill. I think they can do that with Monkey also.
I see.
They make him get more powerful the longer he's there on the field.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, when I said that monkey could be like a god level servants, that brings into mind currently that there are gods in Fate, summonable divine servants. There's Ishtar, Ereshkigal, Quetzalcoatl. These are actual gods in mythological pantheons. God Huna, Arjuna altar, spoiler again, has the entire Indian pantheon inside him, if I'm not mistaken, if that's how they translated it.
Yeah, that's the way I interpret it.
Where do gods fit in with possibility? Because we have I believe there's some certain types of rules with depending on the pantheon, like the Babylonia servants that were gods, so that would be Ishtar and Ereshkigal. They were pseudo servants. That's why they look like Rin. You have Quetzalcoatl, who is a parasite.
The Mesoamerican gods are parasites. They take different bodies. When the body gets old, they jump to a new one.
Does this mean Taiga is being possessed? Is that
Taiga is a different case. Taiga is technically a pseudo servant instead.
Jaguar warrior?
Yeah, because if you summon, like for example, Quetzalcoatl, you're gonna summon one of the hosts.
The lady.
Yeah, but if you can sometimes in special conditions you can just summon it into a pseudo servant. Most gods are like that you summon them into a pseudo servant body so that they can persist. That's what happened with Taiga.
And like we have other sorts of gods as well. Like for example, Skahaxkadi, she was a goddess in a servant, right?
Yes, but then again, I don't think we should count her specifically because she was a lost belt involved king.
So if we're not including lost belt kings, we're taking out Arjuna altar as well.
Yeah, because they're kind of special cases built on more
The
lost
timeline of
belt
that lost belt
creation
itself.
thing and
I
more of
see.
trying to find
Well, we may not have Arjuna altar for the Indian example, but we have like, Parvati.
Yeah, Parvati.
Who is in Sakura, right?
Yes.
So, if we're sticking to pan-human history gods, so no Skadi, no God Huna as well. What about the Olympians, the Lost Belt? Because you did tell me that, okay, Europa, I don't think Europa is possessing anybody, is she?
No, that's what she looks like.
That's really what she looks like.
Because usually the Olympians are they're kind of, they're kind of like Gundams. Like they're giant. Technically, a lot of them are giant robots.
Yeah, well, Europa's not a robot.
Well, she has a
she
mechanical
has a robot.
bone.
Yeah. I mean, that seems to be the difference there. She has a robot. She isn't a robot herself. Zeus is a robot. Like, he's got that giant head thing going on.
Yeah, but
or are we assuming that Europa can do that as well?
I think. Well, doesn't her bull like grow? I think in her noble phantasm or something.
Oh,
but, so I think it's kind of like a pilot bull thing. I'm not sure how that will work, but
okay.
For the Olympians, I think it's possible, but it's unlikely.
I know we discredited like Skadi because of Lost Belt reasons. A servant similar to Skadi that comes to mind is Romulus Quirinus, Roma, as people like to call him. Romulus Quirinus is a god, if I'm not mistaken. He's the Roman god that founded Rome.
Yeah, he's the founder of Rome who reached true divinity.
Well, which one is the founder, Romulus or Quirinus?
No. That's a common misconception. They're not really two different people. They're the same guy. It's just that when Romulus reached godhood, his name became Quirinus. So that's why they kind of call him Romulus Quirinus, so that they can identify him as Romulus in the form of Quirinus.
So the 3-star Romulus is just a guy.
That's Romulus when he was just Romulus.
Okay. And the Roma
is Romulus when he ascended into divinity.
He counts as a god, right?
Yes, technically yes.
But is there well, he's a god not in a servant's body.
He's not. He technically looks like that.
But he was summoned through the catalyst, which was a servant.
Yeah, I think they kind of they used the spirit origin as a bridge.
Because my understanding is the catalyst was the spirit origin of a Roman emperor.
Yeah. So I think they used Caligula for that, right?
Yeah, because he was the only one there. You didn't have Caesar, you didn't have Nero.
So you used Caligula and they summoned Quirinus.
It really is interesting with gods because there seem to be a lot of rules involved depending on the pantheon, like we said. Like Babylon, they have, but most of them seem to follow the whole pseudo servant trait, if I'm not mistaken. Like a lot of them are pseudo servants.
Yes, that's true. There's actually a lot. It can go a lot deeper into that discussion because, like, when it comes to gods being summoned into servant or like into human bodies, right, as pseudo servants, technically that's not actually them, because the real gods, the gods themselves, are on the other side of the world, right? If you know Type Moon lore, most of the gods left for that other phantasmal side. That's if you want to see it in like anime, Sieg, when he became Fafnir,
that's where he went.
He went to the other side of the world to bring the Greater Grail, right? That's where technically all the phantasmal beasts, the demonic beasts, they all went there, including the gods. So when the Throne of Heroes, though, calls a god to be summoned into a pseudo-servant body, the god actually has to allow it to happen. They have to send like a version of themselves into that body. So that's not the actual them. That's why like sometimes they're really different from what they are. Like if we can use Ishtar as an example. You see Ishtar, right? When she's summoned into Rin's body, she's like Rin in a lot of ways, right? But if you look at Ishtar summoned in a different way, you look at Strange Fake, the Ishtar from, spoilers, but like the Ishtar from Strange Fake, she's a lot different from the Ishtar in FGO. So you see how there's like a big difference. It's only a version of themselves that gets affected by the body they go into. So, plus it's also not actually them. So there's still even more complicated things about summoning gods. So it's really difficult, I would say.
But when you brought up that they were essentially nerfed, you'd say, right? To be there, they have to give up part of themselves to show up. To be there in the body of a mortal.
Yeah.
With the exception of some who are... Well, servants are still mortals, I guess.
I wouldn't say they're more of spirits.
Yeah.
Heroic spirits, that's the best way to describe it.
Because where does that put Europa and Roma? Europa is not possessing anybody, I think. To my knowledge, neither is Roma.
Well, okay. From my information, Europa is like that, but she can't turn in. I don't know if she has a big robot form, but she probably does. So she can't turn into that thing, which is her true form.
Okay.
So you technically summoned, for the Olympians at least, you technically summoned the human form, which is significantly weaker than that of the big robot.
So if you could somehow summon an Olympian god, you wouldn't be able to summon a giant robot. You just summon a person.
The dude. Yeah, the dude. Like if you see Zeus as a dude
the big
and
muscly,
Zeus as a giant head,
yeah,
you can. If you summon Zeus,
it's the
you
big
probably
muscly
get the muscly bearded man instead of the
somehow,
big giant head. Yeah.
If you could somehow get him in the first place. And for Roma,
it's that's a special case because he was given the title of Grand Lancer, right? So, and normally divinities aren't allowed to be part of the grands because it's supposed to be a representation of humanity rather than divinity. But Roma is a special case apparently because he's kind of one who ascended. So he is a special case. I think you can summon him mainly because he was human before. That's the way I like to think about it.
Because he's a human that reached godhood.
Yeah. Kind of like the Hercules Disney movie.
Yeah. Oh, just to go on a bit of a quick tangent, and also to bring us back to the Who's Next portion. Strange Fake is a very good Fate story that has a lot of servants that nobody's expected, that people find very strange, hence the name.
Strange Fake.
But Enkidu is from that story.
So is Gil.
So, well, no, Gil was there even before Strange Fake was a thing. So Enkidu already exists in Fate. This leaves... does this allow the Strange Fake servants to enter? And if so, can they all enter? Because, like, okay, Hippolyta, who is, I believe, one of the riders, I don't know if she's the true or the fake rider. She's one of the riders. Hippolyta is fine, you can put her there. I would love to see Richard the Lionheart.
Yes, I would love to see him too.
But I read that you have servants like the Pale Rider from the Bible and Humbaba.
Yes, Humbaba.
And the giant whale. The Watcher, is that what it's called? The Watcher?
That one is freaking weird.
So, actually, no, we can continue that into the Type Moon servants. Because, apart from, we were talking about gods, we were talking about Grand Servants, and we will talk about Grand Servants in a bit, but Type Moon characters that already exist in Type Moon itself. So, and because like Fate Grand Order, as we both have established a long time ago, it seems to be a nexus for all the media of Type Moon to be present. You have you've literally met the protagonist of Apocrypha, and you've met the characters from the regular Fate Stay Night. Not to mention you've met Waver, who is a servant in this game, as well as a former master in Fate Zero. You've met they had a Fate Requiem event, so you met Ares,
Utsumi, Arisa, and Voyager.
Yes. It seems to be a nexus. But Strange Fake seems to be one that they haven't really touched. Maybe because like it's not finished yet. Narita is still working on the book.
That's what Narita said. I'm pretty sure in one of his interviews they asked him, will we see any strange fake servants in Fate Grand Order?
When he's done?
He said that. I'm pretty sure he said that like he'd prefer his story with Strange Fake to be finished first before any of them get to FGO.
But wouldn't that be a Nasu decision, not a Narita decision? Well, it's Narita's book.
It's Narita's book, so it's really not up to Nasu. Nasu could ask him to have a collab. That's what they did like with the other collabs, right?
Yeah.
Unless Nasu owned it himself, but that's what they did with like Fate Requiem, which was a book, right? They asked the author for a collab, and then you get to see the servants in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to Strange Fake, it's still up to the author. We gotta wait for Narita to say, "Here, have Humbaba."
So give the okay. Like, because Strange Fake has some of the craziest and possibly the most powerful servants I've ever seen.
Oh my god!
In all of Typhoon, because like, okay, in the tier list, I believe of the Strange Fake servants, and we have Gilgamesh in that roster. You have like Humbaba, who is a beast, the guardian of the Cedar Forest that Enkidu and Gilgamesh had to kill, right?
They killed it together, though Enkidu has some regrets about it.
Yeah.
If you play
isn't
this
that what killed him?
You mean?
Didn't Enkidu die against him in that fight?
No. Enkidu died because of the curse of Ishtar.
Okay, my mistake. Like, okay, first off, like, it's been described in the book and I think in the manga as well. Humbaba's huge.
Yeah.
Like, we had a discussion. We
Scaling.
literally had this discussion last night as well. Like, you have servants like Paul Bunyan, who are huge, but Paul Bunyan can shrink.
Yeah.
And we have King Protea, who you said can also shrink, but not that much.
No, not a lot. She can shrink a bit.
No, she's huge now, and what we've seen of her standing up is in the game and Fate Grand Carnival's trailer. We've seen how big she is.
She's bigger.
Is Humbaba bigger than her?
I wouldn't. He's not bigger.
He's around the same size.
He's kind of around the same size. I would say he's a bit like maybe a bit taller, but then again.
So like, how do you? This goes back to our who's on the table discussion. Like, how do you summon that thing?
Well,
It's a monster, right?
it's kind of like a robot, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's a sentient robot, and it's a berserker, so
Is it
it
berserker?
doesn't really get summoned as the giant object thing anyway. Like, spoilers for
Wait, so-
Strange Fake, but like it tried to kill its master when it got summoned, but
Well, wait. So like when they summoned it in the the summoning circle and everything, what appeared wasn't a giant monster.
no, it was that golem thing we have in the picture, right? But when it came out, it tried to choke its, kill its master by
Wouldn't it
smashing
have
to
killed
death.
it just by being there because it's so huge?
Like I said, I think Humbaba can shrink.
Oh, we don't know.
Pretty sure he can. That's why he can hide and stuff.
I see.
Still a berserker.
Okay. Now, from one berserker to another from Strange Fake is Jack the Ripper, the other Jack the
I
Ripper.
love that guy's concept.
Jack the Ripper already exists in Fate Grand Order as the little girl assassin,
Yeah.
who amazingly is still considered the best assassin in Fate Grand Order, right? One of. She's still up there.
Yeah, she's still like if you're looking for somebody to generate C stars for you.
There's few better.
Unless you have those like C star regeneration skills, or you're using 2030
Command codes or things
or
like that.
command codes. Yeah, if you need a power generator, you probably bring Jack, right?
Yeah, but that Jack is just one of the forms of Jack the Ripper, the little girl with the knives. Right?
I'm pretty sure in FGO they've made it a point to say that Jack the Ripper could be summoned in different forms because there's so many legends.
When you
about
say
who
different
Jack
forms, does this allow different classes?
Yes. That's why I've always said that Jack the Ripper Berserker is the most accurate one to the original, because that one doesn't have a form.
Okay.
That one Jack the Ripper Berserker takes the form of everything that people speculated that Jack the Ripper is. He can take the form of the assassin, the small kid with the ranged kid, or he can take the form of a hooded man,
Or
take
a,
a form of
a watch.
Yeah. So some people thought it was like an alien. Some people thought it was like some monster technology or something, but like
Or like a ghost.
being
or
a concept.
spirit.
He's a servant that is built on a concept rather than a thing.
The unknown. killer.
The unknown killer, the strangest no pun intended, the strangest killer in humanity's history. We don't know who, what, or why he did such things, and we will never get to know.
Would this Jack the Ripper also have an anti-woman bonus like the assassin one does?
I think that would make sense, yeah.
So, I mean, another one I want to bring up. I'm building to the main one I want to talk about, but before we get there, the Pale Rider. I know him as the Pale Rider because of Persona, but is he also called the Pale Rider?
Yeah, he's called the Pale Rider.
He's one of the Horsemen of Apocalypse.
Of the Apocalypse, yeah.
How do you summon that?
Well, I mean, he's from a mythological book. I mean, if you're looking at the Bible stuff, the
Yeah.
Book of Revelation is pretty...
Dark.
No, it's more of... It's a symbolic book,
Yeah.
so it's kind of mythology in a way.
Yeah.
So he's fine. Yeah.
But
Cool.
like, shouldn't his very presence be a signal of like the end times? Because he's a harbinger. He's like he's a horseman of the apocalypse, right? So
Not necessarily, I would think, because remember, he's more summoned as a symbolism. The riders are symbolisms, not really. You don't take it literally.
okay.
It's just that when you summon him as a servant, they kind of took it literally.
Yeah. Because because neither of us have read Strange Fake, so we don't know. Like, but maybe if this was revealed in the book, we aren't aware. If he was like such a symbolistic figure and stuff, like, how did they translate him to be a servant? Like, what could the noble phantasm of a horseman of apocalypse be?
I mean, there were kind of descriptions. We got the description of what he looked like and what he was brought there
I
to
mean,
do.
I don't think it's hard to imagine what he looks like. He's a guy on a horse with all
The Pale
white.
Rider.
Yeah.
I
With
think
giant
Pale Rider was supposed to be
Was he dead?
Death. I think, yeah. I'm not sure if it was Death. Either that or it was Pestilence, one of the two. But I think it was Death. That's why that's the one. And Hades accompanied him or something like that. But yeah, when it comes to the Pale Rider, I guess his noble phantasm would involve something like that. You know, applying death to a large area or something.
A while ago we did mention a formless servant like Jack. Another one I want to talk about are the assassins of Fate Strange Fake, because they're both Hassan Isabas, right?
Yes.
And neither of them have ever appeared in Fate before,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
There's both Strange Fake exclusives
So far,
so far, to our knowledge at least.
we have the fake Hassan and the real one.
True Hassan and fake Hassan. True Hassan is the
A formless
floating mask
thing.
ghost thing. We still don't know what his Zabanya is.
Yeah. Oh, so and the fake one is just a girl that
Yeah.
can do.
We're not really sure about her origins, but she can take the power of
That's her Zabanya.
take on the power of the Zabanyas of all the other 12 leaders of the assassin cult.
Uh-huh.
Which is really interesting, seeing that she was never really a leader herself. So
Did
we're
she
not
even
really sure about
did she
her
even
origins.
exist among the Hassans, or was she like? Or is this like how Benkei, as it was explained, I think in the anime and the game, the Musashibo Benkei that we have in the game is not the real Musashibo Benkei. It's just a guy that saw him.
Yeah, who
And-
carried on his story
Yeah.
as Musashibo Benkei.
Is this case like that? Is that not actually a woman? Is that woman just somebody who got involved with the Hassans, but maybe wasn't a Hassan herself?
It's a possibility. We have yet to confirm anything about her origins, though. I hope Narita does do that in the future issue of the book.
But both of them are like many Strange Fake servants. I think, with a few exceptions, are plausible to show up in FGO. They would require some nerfing, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would require some boundaries.
Yeah. The one I'm thinking of that really needs a lot of nerfing is the fake is the true archer. The true archer,
Alcides.
Alcides, who who is known as a Hercules altar.
Yeah, that man is extremely powerful. Like, jeez, like Wow.
What was the descriptions? He has 12 noble phantasms,
Like-
each one more powerful than the last, or something.
Something like that, yeah. Each of his 12 labors give him a noble phantasm. And he has a noble phantasm that allows him to copy other servants' noble phantasm.
Like, which labor would have given him the power to do that?
I have no idea.
Like, I don't know all the 12 labors of Hercules. I should probably look it up. But like, the one I know the best is the Nemean Lion. It's basically like what was this? What's the scabbard of Excalibur called?
Avalon?
Yeah, that. It's basically like that, right? Like if he wears that thing,
he's invulnerable. Yeah.
So
if he has the thing of the Nemean Lion, he's basically invulnerable.
Yeah. So, well, one of the things I think was established before is that altars can't be summoned in Grail Wars. But Great Grand Order isn't the Grail War.
Yeah, it's a
And
special case.
You can we have God Huna, who is a Lost Belt King, who is also an altar.
Yeah.
So, I don't think Alcides is out of the realm of possibility.
They're gonna have to like mega nerf him though.
Yeah. Because you'd have to limit his skills to just 3. It's like how Achilles has his skills or his NPs,
each
right?
of his NPs, yeah.
And yet, but Achilles had like what 5?
5
4
NPs.
or 5.
If you you have
He has the horse, the actual NP in the game.
horse, the shield,
His shield,
his spear,
the chariot,
his speed is also part of his NP.
the chariot he rides.
The horses and the chariot are one.
Oh,
Take it
what's
as
the last
one.
thing?
I think it was
What do we have?
No,
here?
I think that's
the Dromos.
Dromos Cometus is
Cometus.
supposed to be his divine speed.
Yeah.
The Atrecon Aster Lonk is.
The
I'm talking in his skills here.
The invulnerability, right?
No,
Or is
that's
that the
what
taunt?
you call it. That's Andreas Amarantos. That's his
That's the-
shield.
that's the shield.
I'm pretty sure.
What's the taunt?
The taunt, I think, is his spear. I think this taunt is his spear.
Okay.
And his NP is the horses. But I think
Troias Tragoidia.
yeah. They didn't use what you call it Achilleos Cosmos though.
I thought Achilleos Cosmos is the shield.
Yeah, but so is Andreas Amarantos.
He has
I'm
2
very
shields.
Sure. No, same shield. It can do different things.
So it's like Roias.
Kind of like Roias, yeah.
Okay. But like, Achilles had 4 or 5. They had to cut it down to 4. No, they kept it at 4. I
I
guess.
kept it at 4.
But then he would have had 5 because Achilleos Cosmos is not in the game. Well,
They
it's not
mention
among the
it,
skills. They
but-
mention it, of course, but it's not in the.
You can't use it.
Yeah. Alcides has 12.
12 plus. I don't even know how many.
Yeah. How do you what do you keep? What do you give up? Like how would that
God.
work with him? He's an archer. He'd be the most powerful archer in the game.
Yeah.
Unless
It- I don't-
really nerf him.
I mean, it's hard to do that because like you have Gilgamesh and
Well, yeah.
he's
I mean, Gilgamesh
rightfully
is-
still like one of the best archers even in JP.
But like, okay, but something to note, even Gilgamesh needed rank up quests. He had 3, right? 2.
Okay, they just did the rank up quest to make him even stronger.
Yeah.
Like he didn't need it per se. They
I
just
don't know,
made
like
him
the
even.
NP gauge up on his third skill is very useful.
Yeah, but basically they were trying. Okay, originally Gilgamesh was meant to be a crit servant
Well, he still is, but yeah.
based on his build. When they added the NP thing, they just like, let's make him good at everything, Why not? Yeah, and then
Make
they
it
made
fun
his
too.
NP stronger twice. So they're like, let's make
Uh-huh.
him stronger. Why not? He's
So-
already damaged as freaking
Yeah.
hell, but no, they
Yeah.
just destroy everything now
Yeah.
with my NP.
It's funny we bring up Gilgamesh because apart from the fact that Gilgamesh is also in Strange Fake, they met once, and I think Alcides said something to the effect of, if you're gonna fight me, do it, whatever you have as your ultimate weapon, bring it out now, because if you don't, or if I survive, you're dead.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's kind of a testament to Alcides' strength.
I mean, well, Alcides is Heracles, in a sense, right?
It's hard to explain his origins about what he is because his summoning was
Very weird.
off.
Yeah.
But as a person, yes, the closest thing you can relate him to is a version of Hercules. Heracles is more accurate.
Oh, well, there's also something else to consider with regards to the fact that Heracles can be summoned into all
Classes.
seven classes. All six.
all
No,
seven.
no,
He can
almost
summon-
all
yeah,
seven.
Except for caster. He just can't be summoned as a caster. He can be summoned into all of the classes except for caster.
So with Heracles being this sort of jack of all trades servant, just like Jack is, based on if we're going by lore, he should be capable of doing that. Right?
Yeah. He can do something.
Then where could that fit in terms of, like, again, how do you nerf Alcides? Or do you just not put him in at all?
It's problematic if they're gonna try and put him in there.
Because I would think Strange Fake fans would want him in there.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to see him there. It's just that in terms of gameplay and skills and stuff like that, how the heck are you gonna nerf this guy? He's OP as heck. Like, he can kill so many people all at once. But like, how do you nerf him? It's kind of like how Gilgamesh had a weakness, right? That he
Yeah.
doesn't go all out all the time. He doesn't.
Oh,
care.
that's more of an ego thing.
Yeah, but that's his weakness, right? He doesn't.
Yeah, you can call it a
He
weakness,
doesn't
yeah.
recognize the strength of enemies at all. He underestimates all of his enemies.
Well, you've said before Enkidu.
Except for Enkidu, obviously, because Enkidu is the only guy who ever matched him, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of everyone else, everyone's in his eyes is just beneath him. I don't need to use my strength on this. But when it comes to Alcides, he doesn't have that thing. He's like, if I see an enemy like you, and you don't put your full strength out there, I'm just gonna kill you. I'm not gonna wait for you to do it, right?
So I bring up how powerful Alcides is as well, because one of the things me and Ryan really love to speculate on are the Grand Servants, because we know of 1, 2, 3, technically 3 or 4. How many Grand Servants have we seen?
We've seen all the classes for Grand Servants except for Saber, Rider, and Berserker.
Caster,
We've only seen four. We've only seen
Caster,
4.
Archer, and Lancer.
Yes. We've
There-
only seen 4.
There are 7
Assassin.
classes.
Assassin.
Assassin, Caster.
Archer,
Oh,
Lancer.
that's right. I forgot. So, like, okay, we have King Hassan for the assassin.
Mhm.
Interesting how he'd stack up against the Strange Fake Servants. I don't know. Obviously, he's still like the big head honcho of the Hassans. That's why he's a Grand Servant.
He's the only guy qualified for the position, so nobody is gonna replace him as Grand Assassin.
Yeah. You have who originally Solomon, who is now gone. Merlin is a candidate. Can't be a Grand Servant because he's alive. Is that how you explained it?
More of like he had the option to, but he didn't really want to. So kind of like Gilgamesh.
I thought he couldn't because he's not dead.
Not necessarily, I would guess, but.
Then again, you can
that's
summon
kind-
Artoria. She's not dead either.
Yeah, there are things like that.
But like, isn't he still there? He's still in Avalon, right? So that,
Yeah, but there are loopholes here and
I
there.
suppose, yeah, that's how he got to Babylon in the first place.
Yeah, because he was never alive during that time, so you can summon him.
All right, and where does that put? Okay, who else have we seen? Are we missing somebody? Oh no, okay. Super Orion is the Grand Archer.
Yes.
Super Orion, the big buff archer man who can crit lancers in one hit, right?
Everything. I don't know why they made like that man so powerful.
I mean, I know there's people who have the argument, shouldn't Gilgamesh be a Grand Servant?
Well, he technically is.
Because like, isn't he? Because I know somewhere before, and this has been like something I want to bring up as well, because this is actually also a comic book issue. Somewhere before, Nasu has said Gilgamesh is the most powerful servant in all of Typhoon. If he tries.
If he tries, yes. Because he has so many noble fans.
But so, assuming Gilgamesh tries to fight a Grand Servant, like he actually tries,
yeah.
who wins?
Okay. I like to think that he was a candidate for Grand Archer, right? He
Yeah.
just didn't want to become Grand Archer.
Yeah.
For you people who didn't know that, or who were wondering that why Gilgamesh wasn't the Grand Archer, he just didn't want to become Grand Archer. He wanted to. He didn't want that kind of responsibility.
By no means does it mean he's not as powerful. I'd argue he's more powerful than Orion is.
Yeah, but the main cutting factor is that you can't have a grand fight a normal one because the spirit origin just pales in comparison. Unless you're like, you have to be like some kind of exception to the rule, like a lost belt servant or something.
I mean, it's Gilgamesh. He is the rules.
Yeah, but like, but what I mean by that is like, Gilgamesh is extremely powerful. Yes, but should he fight somebody given the spirit origin of a grand servant, he'll lose. Because if you're talking about servants as their own, then Gilgamesh is the strongest. But if you count grand servants together, if Gilgamesh does not have grand servant powers, then he's gonna lose.
Well, what about the fact that to actually summon grand servants, they need to give up their titles, correct?
Yes.
That's
if they're going to be summoned by a human, there's only two ways to do that. They either give up their title as grand servant and their spirit origin, spirit origin, or you have something literally connected to them.
Which is how Marisbury summoned Solomon.
Marisbury and Sphere.
Wait, does that mean Solomon wasn't the grand servant when Marisbury summoned him?
No, yeah, wasn't anymore.
Well, then how is
no, he was. He was still
was.
Grandcaster because he had the connection.
Oh, okay.
Specific connection.
Well,
it's just that after he kind of gave up his servant.
I see.
He wanted to become human.
So now that King Hassan and Orion and Roma are in Chaldea, they're not grand servants anymore. Is Gilgamesh now more powerful than they are?
I wouldn't say yes.
Well, they're not grand
but
servants
I wouldn't
anymore.
say no either.
Yeah, they're not grand servants anymore.
They're not grand servants anymore, yeah, but like some yes, I guess. Like you look at Orion, probably.
Yeah, I still think Gilgamesh is more powerful
King
than
Hassan,
Orion.
probably. I don't think so. I think
Roma?
King Hassan will still beat Gilgamesh. I'm kind of biased towards him, but like thinking literally, I think he would still beat him.
Roma,
I think Gilgamesh would beat him too.
Yeah. Well, Roma's an interesting case because I think I read up somewhere Nasu had no input on Roma.
Yeah, they kind of just added him there because they wanted to have a Grand Lancer.
Yeah, so at some point, now that Roma exists in the game, obviously this means he's not a Grand Lancer anymore. Could this just be a case of, well, he was the Grand Lancer, he's not the Grand Lancer anymore. Now this is the Grand Lancer.
True.
Even if they did do that, I don't know who you could put there because Skahak already exists in Fate Grand Order.
Yeah, I would have wanted Shisho to be like, I would have wanted her to be the Grand Lancer. It would have made so much sense also.
But she's already there.
Yeah, but she's already there. It's kind of sad. But if they were to add anyone else, I don't know.
Yeah. Because like the logic, it seems, for servants, especially grand servants, is they either have to have a famous weapon or have to be famous for using said weapon of the class.
Yeah. When it comes to spears, though, we're kind of in the question marks.
Many people say Gungnir, but Odin's a god.
Yeah, and you can't.
It seems. I think you've pointed out gods can't be servants.
No, gods can't be grands because Roma is a special case.
Right. Well, he's not a grand servant anymore. So
not anymore, but he's a special case. He was given title Grand Lancer, but I think the only reason for that is because he was once human.
Okay, so Gungnir, Odin's out. Somebody I thought of before is a character from Fate Requiem. That's Longinus. Thing with Longinus though is, he exists in Requiem, so I don't think he can be a Grand Servant because he was summoned, right?
Yeah. I mean, if in Requiem
Well,
he was summoned as
what are the
normal
rules
servant.
of Requiem? Because like everybody has a servant in Requiem.
Yeah, everyone has a servant in Requiem. Servants are normal things, apparently.
Yeah.
And servants can have children, which is nice. I like that. Still don't think Longinus, we're gonna see him anytime soon in FGO.
Yeah.
Because he's a bit too closely related to Jesus and Christianity.
Yeah.
Because if you add him, you're gonna have to actually directly mention him, and that's a bit dangerous territory, I would say.
Yeah. Well, Persona did that.
Yeah, but Persona doesn't need to directly reference it.
Well, I mean, Persona 3.
They allude to
there,
it.
like,
Persona alluded to it.
Yeah.
For FGO, that's a direct relationship.
Oh, okay. I see your point. So, with this whole Grand Servant discussion, who's left? Like we mentioned way earlier in the episode, Genghis Khan.
Yes, Genghis Khan. I'm a big advocate that Genghis Khan should be the Grand Rider because no one else fits the bill better.
Okay. There's a lot of speculation. Like, what baffles me, like, I agree with you with Genghis Khan. What really baffles me are the other two. The Grand Saber and the Grand Berserker. Now, we kind of know and can assume that David's Envoy's Grand Servant, spoiler, is the Grand Berserker.
Yeah, based on what we know about David, it's probably the Berserker.
Now, Grands have to be the epitome of the class itself.
Yes.
Right? So, you need to find the epitome of a person who's been insane.
Madness. Something like that.
Chaos,
madness. Destruction, stuff like that. But finding a candidate for that is a bit strange.
I mean, like, a popular theory is Tezcatlipoca.
Yes, the antithesis
to Quetzalcoatl. I wouldn't mind, but Tezcatlipoca is also a god.
Yeah, but... Yeah, actually, that's also a kind of weird factor for me.
So it's more of a...
Maybe it would be fine because Quetzalcoatl was also summoned.
But Quetzalcoatl is not a Grand Servant.
Yeah.
So
which is kind of weird. If you ask me, if you're the antithesis to Quetzalcoatl, why would you be the Grand?
Yeah, instead of Quetzalcoatl herself.
Yeah, why didn't Quetzalcoatl get a grand spot?
Well,
why didn't
also, I think you mean to say it would imply that the human form of Tezcatlipoca was so powerful that it qualified to be a Grand Servant.
I guess. Yeah.
Which would be very weird.
It would be very, very weird. Like, that's why we kind of try to stray away from divinities as Grand Servants.
So Tezcatlipoca's kind of out. Kinda.
Yeah. Kinda. If they still put it, he gave him the
they
slot,
have to give him a very good reason.
Yeah, they have to have an
well.
explanation for it at least.
As for the Grand Saber, what I'm really confused about is that the most famous sword out there in myth, I would say, is Excalibur, right?
Yeah.
No matter which version it is, Artorias or the more powerful Arthur's Excaliburs, neither of them are.
It's the most famous sword. Yeah.
Yes.
So
who could it be? So if it's not the famous sword itself, it's got to be the most famous swordsman in the world. And there are very few people like that. Okay, Artoria, gone. Musashi is not the Grand Saber, unless
they put the boy,
the male.
Man. If they put the male
Miyamoto Musashi, the real,
because the Miyamoto Musashi we know is from
she's
a different
she's
parallel. She's not pan-human history, Musashi. She's from a different existence.
Oh, that's right.
So if they add the real Miyamoto Musashi, that would make a lot of sense.
Is he famous enough to qualify? I mean, yes, he's very recognizable.
I think his name is known across the world already.
But is he known to be the most?
Like in terms of swordsmanship, like the art of the blade itself, I think Miyamoto Musashi is pretty much fits the bill.
The real one, the male.
Yeah.
Not necessarily male, maybe like the real Miyamoto Musashi.
Yeah, but because it's been proven before in FGO history that the real
Musashi
one is a dude. It's just that our Musashi is a girl because she's from a different existence.
Well, there were servants in Fate Grand Order that said, "Yeah, I was a dude. What happened?" Right?
Who? I'm not sure about that.
Well, no, I might be thinking of Musashi herself when she said,
That's
like,
probably-
the
yeah,
Musashi in
I
your
was
history is a
good.
guy?
Oh, that's cool.
That's
yeah.
cool. No, like, okay, Nobu. Nobu was a guy.
No, Nobu was a girl in Pan-Human History FGO.
Oh. Artoria? I don't know.
No, that one's questionable.
Nero?
If you ask me, if it would not be Miyamoto Musashi man,
Yeah.
I still like the theory that it's Raiko Saber,
A sane Minamoto no Raiko.
because Kintoki has said multiple times already that Raiko is her normal class is Saber,
Right.
and Berserker is kind of not the best class for her. So like, if we were to see Saber Raiko, that would be, I think that is a possibility, you know, for a Grand Servant, the true master or slayer of demons and stuff, you know.
Okay. Finally, I want to talk about the other side of Fate. Because we've talked about like mystical, historical, possible servants. But Fate also has this ability to grab characters from its own universe and make
Yeah.
them servants.
Dark Moon,
We've seen Waver is a big example.
Waver, Grey.
Waver Zhugliang, Grey, Muramasa, Ishtar, Rin,
Yeah.
Luvia.
Luvia. Yeah, Luvia.
Luvia's Astria. The many Sakuras.
The many Sakuras.
Right. Kiritsugu. Ilya.
Ilya.
The other Ilya. Chloe. Miyu.
Irisville.
Irisville.
Yeah, we get
Many
that.
of them are there. Who could they grab? Not from, well, okay, also from history, but who can they grab from type? It's like how we brought the gods thing into discussion. Maybe like a pseudo servant like enters their body. Who could they grab from Type Moon, Fate or otherwise, and bring them to Fate Grand Order? And also, can they reuse a character? Because like Sieg already exists in Fate Grand Order.
I don't think, unless they're just normal humans, I don't think they're gonna be reused. Like Sieg
But what
is
well-
a special case because he's a homunculus, so I don't think they're gonna reuse Sieg.
Ilya's been used
Ilya,
twice.
they used her twice already.
Well,
She even has
you
a
could
summer
I guess you
version.
could argue that the one Ilya is the Kalide Prisma Ilya,
Yeah, and the
and
other one is
is
pseudo
the
servant.
Fate Ilya's body. Is that
Yeah,
is that how they explain it?
yeah, it's the Fate Ilya's body.
And what about Sakura?
Sakura, that's the many forms of Sakura. Yeah, Sakura, Dark Sakura, the Sakura 5, BB. You know, Sakura.
Okay, so they can reuse a person.
They can
character.
reuse, I guess, as long as it's
Shiro. Shiro
Shiro,
is in a bit of a
Emiya,
weird place because he
Muramasa.
already is a servant in Fate lore.
Yeah, that's why they
and
just
then
added an
Muramasa's
altar.
there now.
Yeah, that's why they just added an altar for him.
And like they used Rin twice.
Yeah. Still waiting for my Summer Ereshka girl. I'm a big
Okay.
fan.
But if they were to grab somebody new, who can they grab? And we're not talking about servants.
Yeah, we're talking
about
like
the masters or other Type Moon characters in general.
Yeah, like, I
because like Kara no Kyokai had a collab with Fate Grand Order. Ryogi Shiki is a servant in Fate Grand Order.
Yeah.
She's also the root.
Yeah,
the Void
Saber
Shiki
one, the Void Shiki
is the root itself.
Which is weird.
You have Asagami Fujino.
Well, if we're discussing characters, I think we've talked about before Mr. Kuzuki.
Oh yeah, Soichiro.
Soichiro Kuzuki.
He's on the top of my list because like, well, he
Yeah.
kicked Saber's ass in one anime, in one of the routes.
Yeah. So
And he's
if
just a person.
if he can do that kind of crap, then like I bet he would be like the
How was he
pseudo-servant
able
of
to
a
do that
martial
again?
artist.
Was that Caster or did he know magic
Caster taught him some magic.
to be a martial artist?
Yeah, body enhancement. You know how like when Rin fights, they're like lines. on
Oh,
her
like when
legs?
she had a wrestling match with Luvia.
Yeah, you know how like that. You enhance your body
Or
with magic.
Kirei, I guess. No, Kirei was different. Kirei had training. That's different.
Enhancing the body. A good example is Kiritsugu's Time Axel
Yeah.
spell. where you slow down your heartbeat so much that time
Oh,
slows down.
does it slow down, or do you just stop it?
Well, yeah, your heartbeat basically stops, and during that time you have to. Time will move slower around you.
While you're dead.
Not really dead. It's more of you have to temporarily keep yourself alive.
Okay.
So,
Kuzuki is like on the top of my list. As you've pointed out, he kind of looks like Lee Shuan, but no, he isn't.
yeah, but
They've
like if they're
never-
ever gonna add anyone with Kozuki, he's gonna be like the pseudo servant of a martial artist.
But who can they get?
That I have no idea.
You can't get like, I don't know, Bruce Lee or something.
No, that's
Can't do that.
That's too modern.
Yeah, the closest servant we have to modern history is, I think, Mata Hari.
Yeah, closest to our generation.
Because
I
World War
think.
II.
Yeah.
Mata Hari was a World War II person.
Yeah,
World War II, World War One.
World War Two. Pretty
Mata
sure.
Hari, okay. Chevalier Dion? Isn't Chevalier Dion kind of modern as well?
Kind of, yeah.
But anyway, Kozuki is on the top of that list for me and Ryan. I know I like to joke about it, but after we did this a bit of a discussion, okay, the rules with grabbing a Type Moon character seem to be that they're related to the Grail. I don't know how Ryogi Shiki
No,
and
that was
Asagami
more.
Fujino
That
fit
was more of a collab. That's why, like, if you're thinking
So
about
that should
having
not be
a
possible.
Tsukihime remake, like, or a Tsukihime collab, it should be fine also.
there. Yeah.
Because if what you call it, Shiki was not related to the Grail whatsoever, well, of course you can have like
You can have Death.
you
Shiki
can have
Death.
Tsukihime characters, right? Like if let's move to like the, adding Tsukihime characters, right? They just announced the remake for Tsukihime, right?
Yeah.
The VL. It's gonna be playable in Japan. We hope that they'll have a translated version that we can play also in, the global.
Yeah, hopefully.
So if you're gonna add people like Shiki Tono or Arcuid or those kind of characters from Tsukihime, I think it's a really big possibility. You just need to find a way to make them make sense, putting them there.
Yeah. Well, it's great that you bring up Tsukihime because like I would say it has more in relation to Fate than Kara no Kyokai did. Because you have these little tidbits, like for example, CL from Tsukihime is the one that gave Shiro his red outfit, the one Archer wears.
To keep Unlimited Blade Works inside his body.
Yeah, that came from CL, and Arcuid herself is the archetype Earth.
Kind of hard to explain. But
Yeah, basically like Type Moon is an actual character in the Type Moon universe.
Arcuid is the strongest being on Earth in a
Yeah.
small gist. Yeah.
Can you? I mean, okay. Well, Arcuid has appeared as a servant before. She's appeared in
She's
Fate
a
Extra.
berserker, right?
Yeah. But do you just grab that Arcuid, like the one that showed up in Extra? Do you say, "Oh, she was a berserker in Extra. We'll just make her a berserker in Fate Grand Order"? Do they do that? Because we know like true ancestors can be servants. Look at spoiler. Look at
Yume
Akuta. Yeah, Akuta. What is her name?
Akuta Hinako.
Akuta Hinako.
You may run.
She was a true ancestor. She only becomes a servant after you kill her. But
Yeah,
I mean, the fact that the world, in the state of Fate Grand Order's world, the fact that it's all gone. Arcuid's dead. You'd think Arcuid was dead, right?
well, we don't know if she existed in the timeline of FGO, but if they were to bridge realities, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, because like with that first collab, are you implying that Ryogi Shiki existed in the Fate Grand Order timeline?
I wouldn't say so. Maybe
Because that was a singularity.
It was a singularity, so it's kind of an irregularity, an irregular portion.
Okay, but she's there.
She's there, yeah.
Along with the Void One, who is literally the root of all magic itself.
Yeah. But,
Um,
in terms of Tsukihime, I don't think there's a problem with them adding it. It's just that they just need to find a way to make them proper servants. Arcuid should be easy, because she's already a berserker before. And you kind of just need to work around the true ancestor vibe.
I guess you could make Shiki an assassin easy enough.
Yeah,
Just like
yeah.
Ryogi was. Shikitono could easily be an assassin as well.
Yeah, because he has some skills anyway also.
Plus, I guess they could grab from Melty Blood. Not only
Yeah.
that, Scion exists.
Scion is there. That's another.
But that's a
link
different
to
Scion.
It's a different Scion, yes, but it's a good link to. It's a good way to link two universes together, or
Uh-huh.
the two Nasu works, the Type
Yeah.
Moon works together.
So, I know I brought up earlier that Nasu has said Gilgamesh is the most powerful servant in all of Fate. I mentioned that this was a comic book problem as well because Stan Lee once said Galactus is the most powerful being in the Marvel Universe. You read comics now, that's not true in the slightest.
Well, yeah, because
Galactus is nowhere near as powerful as he
they've
used to be.
spread so many different
I
characters.
believe Fate is at the
right?
point where that is also true. Granted, Gilgamesh still
He still
holds up as a very
Yeah.
powerful servant. Watching the anime, Gilgamesh is clearly the most powerful servant in that show.
If you ask me, what Nasu said is still true. It's just more of now there are exceptions.
I see. Alright, well, you know what? I think that's about all we can say on this topic. What's next for Fate Grand Order? We have no idea.
Well, yeah, in terms
This
of
is all-
servants, events, we
have no
world
idea.
is their oyster, and you know,
They released Muramasa. We have no idea who's next.
yeah. Hopefully they release the skins.
Yeah.
Band together, friends. We will
Yes.
never forgive Arcade.
Arcade for what's this for Prototype Merlin?
We will never forgive Arcade.
Okay. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. That was
Yeah.
the very first episode. Woohoo!
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm glad you were willing to spend an hour and something minutes of your time listening to two nerds ramble on about Type Moon, about a franchise that used to begin as a doujin company.
Yes.
So yeah,
If you guys have any suggestions of
yes,
anything you
we
want
do
us
have
to talk
planned.
about,
Yeah, we do have planned episodes. Like we have a Genshin Impact episode planned.
yeah,
We'll probably
or-
record that some other time, if not later. I don't know. We can
Yeah,
try.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, but yes, thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you around
See you
for the
soon.
next episode.
Bye.